education you had. Everybody deserves the right to a secure stake, a secure spot in this economy. We're all God's children here. We're all children of Mother Earth. We all deserve a place to survive in. So we call for an economic human right to a job at a decent 15 minimum wage and up. So we call for this thing called a Green New Deal. It's kind of like the New Deal that got us out of the Great Depression, but we call for a Green New Deal because we have an emergency. It's an economic emergency, and we need those jobs to get out of it. It's also a climate emergency, an emergency of environmental racism and environmental injustice. So we fix all of that at one time with a whole lot of jobs. And those jobs come where they are needed most first. And where are they needed most? They are needed most in the communities of color that have double the rate of unemployment. So we are talking about bringing those jobs. And then who decides, which was the question you brought up, who decides what to do with these resources? These are national resources that come to the community, and the community decides what it needs in order to be sustainable economically, socially, racially, and ecologically. So these are resources delivered to the community to decide through a participatory budgeting process. That means people decide, one person, one vote, not $1, one vote, which is how our elected political system works right now. It's dollars for votes, it's not people for votes. So jobs is the second thing here that fix the climate crisis, fix the environmental racism thing. We call for healthcare as a human right through a Medicare for all system for everybody, whether you have a job or not. And it covers everything, head to toe, cradle to grave, everybody in, nobody out. It works, it saves us a lot of money. That's a part of the program. We can actually do it for exactly the cost we have right now. We just take out the profiteers who are skimming about 20 or 30% off of our healthcare dollars for profiteering. Instead, we put those healthcare dollars into your healthcare. And the last thing I'm going to mention, actually two, we put an end to police violence. We put communities in charge of our police instead of having police in charge of our communities. And that's not rocket science. We do that by creating citizen-controlled police review boards.
That's right.
So the citizens decide who's the commissioner and whether he stays hired or whether he gets fired. It's the people who are going to decide on this commission. We also call for investigators, full-time, so every death at the hands of police is investigated. It doesn't require a miracle from the Department of Justice in Washington, D.C. to decide to investigate who's been murdered. We need to know who's been murdered every time that happens. So this isn't rocket science, it can be fixed. We also call for a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to get to the bottom of this problem of racism and violence, including in our police forces, but way beyond our police force. We need to get to this legacy, this living legacy of the criminal institution of slavery so that we can put it to end for once and for all. And then lastly, and again, I'm echoing what Zakim said earlier, we call for cutting the friggin' military budget by 50%, putting those dollars into real security here at home. Right now we're fighting these wars for oil. Most of this is like where your income taxes go. 54% is for the military. The next biggest line item is 7%, and that's for a variety of things like education and government services and stuff like that. Most people don't know this. We basically have a military budget with a few little footnotes around it. That's what it is. And you know, that's why we've got to change it. Because right now that military budget is only getting us into trouble. It's not making us safer. We need to put that money into real security here at home. That's how it is, that we can create the jobs that we need. And in fact, you know what? I want to throw out another really radical idea, but there are some countries around the world, they take the guns away from their police force. And you know what? Everybody is safer, including the police.
Let's go.
Police are actually safer when they're not carrying weapons. And this is true in China, it's true in the United Kingdom, it is true in Norway, it's true in Iceland, and some of these countries actually have a lot of guns, like our country too. So that's something we also need to put on the table. When we talk about gun control, we need to also think about gun control aimed at the police. Because people are shooting each other out of fear right now. And it works both ways. You know, we saw in those horrific deaths last week, Alton Sterling and Philando Castile. In each of those cases, the cops they heard there was a gun and they shot, you know, just like that. So as an armed society, you know, and then you had the shootings back at the cops, and I understand there was just another shooting against cops here. We're all in the crossfire now, the crossfire of racism and white supremacy and the crossfire of an armed society. So we really need to look at disarming so we can all live in a safe place and our kids can live in a safe place. But that disarmament needs to be across the board, and we need to start talking about that. To have nonviolent policing, policing that looks to disengage and to de-escalate, and we need to start looking at everybody putting their arms away. So with that, I'm just going to say, that's the agenda we're talking about. And when people say, green, you're voting green, what? Now you can say why you're voting green, because it's the only way forward. And people tell you all the time, you got to vote for the lesser evil. But you know what? That lesser evil is like vote for your fears rather than your values. But by voting our fears, it brought us everything we were afraid of. All the reasons you were told to vote for the lesser evil, because you didn't want our jobs going overseas, you didn't want our wages going down, you didn't want the expanding prison system, you didn't want growing student debt, you didn't want the closure and privatization of our community schools, you didn't want the attack on immigrants. All these things are exactly what we've gotten because we let ourselves be silenced and we let one of the evils speak for us, the lesser evil, but still an evil. They're not on our side, they're on the side of the predators. So we say, forget the lesser evil, stand up and fight for the greater good. Not the lesser evil, it's the greater good. Because our lives depend on it, and in fact they do. We can have an America and a world that works for all of us, that puts people, planet, and peace together, and it puts them all over profit. People, planet, and peace over profit. We got it, we deserve it. By standing up together, we are unstoppable.